Let me tell you about a man so precise, his neighbors used his daily walk to set their clocks. His name was Immanuel Kant. Born in 1724 in Königsberg, a quiet town in Prussia, now Kaliningrad, Russia. Kant spent his entire life in that one place. He never traveled far, avoided crowds, and followed the same routine every day. Quiet, disciplined, and obsessed with structure, he believed life's biggest questions could be answered in a single room, through pure thought. From a young age, Kant stood out academically. He grew up in a strict religious household, studied at the University of Königsberg, and later became a professor there. He was drawn to science and math, fascinated by Newton's laws and Leibniz's logic. But the turning point came when he read David Hume. Hume asked a question that shook Kant to the core. Can we really know that one thing causes another? Or are we just assuming it, based on habit? This wasn't just a clever puzzle. For Kant, it was a crisis. If cause and effect can't be trusted, what else in our knowledge is just assumption? That question haunted him and forced him to rethink everything. What if knowledge isn't just something we receive from the world? What if our mind plays an active role in shaping it, even before we're aware? Kant flipped the whole conversation. Instead of asking, what do we know? He asked, what must already exist in our minds for knowledge to even be possible? This became the foundation of his famous method, the transcendental method. Take space and time. We think we learn them from experience. But Kant said no. They're already built into the mind. We don't discover space and time. We see everything through them. This led to a breakthrough. Kant realized, to understand knowledge, we can't just look at the world. We have to understand the mind that interprets it. From here, he introduced three big ideas that shaped all his work: a new theory of knowledge, a new foundation for morality, and a strong defense of human freedom. Let's start with the first. How do we actually know anything? Kant believed knowledge is created when two things come together: our sensory input and our mental structure. He put it simply, thoughts without content are empty. Intuitions without concepts are blind. Without experience, our thoughts are meaningless. Without concepts, raw experience is just noise. And it goes deeper. Time and space? They're not out there. They're in us, built-in lenses through which we perceive everything. Kant also said we use built-in categories to sort experience: cause and effect, unity, quantity, quality, necessity, and possibility. These aren't properties of the world. They're structures of the mind. From this, Kant made a bold claim. What we know is not reality as it truly is, but as it appears to us. He called this the phenomenal world. Beyond it lies the noumenal world, reality in itself, which we can never access directly. Still, Kant said some truths don't come from experience but are still meaningful. He called this synthetic a priori knowledge. Truths like every event has a cause. We don't learn it from the world. We assume it before experience even starts. So, knowledge isn't just something we collect. It's something we construct, shaped by how our minds are wired. But this raises a deeper question. If our mind shapes how we know, can it also shape how we act? For Kant, the answer was yes. Just as our mind structures knowledge, it also gives us the ability to choose right from wrong. And that's where his moral philosophy begins. What makes an action truly moral? Kant said it's not about outcomes and not about feelings. It's about intention and principle. He believed morality comes from duty, doing the right thing just because it's right. If you help someone just to look good, that's not morality. If you help because you believe it's your duty, that is. His most famous idea? The categorical imperative. It says, act only according to a rule you'd want everyone to follow. Ask yourself, what if everyone did what I'm about to do? If the answer leads to contradiction or chaos, that action isn't moral. Lying, for example. If everyone lied, trust would collapse. So lying can't be morally acceptable. Kant also said, never use people as a means to an end. Treat every person as an end in themselves, with dignity and respect. Don't manipulate. Don't exploit. And at the heart of all this is freedom. Kant believed that real morality requires real freedom, but not the kind of freedom that means doing whatever you want. True freedom, for Kant, is the ability to act according to your own reason. It means following moral principles not because someone told you to, not out of fear, and not for reward, but because you understand and accept them yourself. This is what Kant called autonomy. A moral person is someone who uses reason to guide their own actions, freely, consciously, and responsibly. Without this kind of freedom, morality wouldn't even be possible. Because if you can't choose, then you can't be held accountable. So how do you know if your action has moral worth? Ask yourself, am I doing this for the right reason? Would I want everyone to do the same? Am I respecting others? Am I choosing this freely? If the answer is yes, then Kant would say, that's real morality. But then he asked one final question. If we live by moral duty, does it mean anything beyond this life? Is there ultimate justice? Does doing good matter, even if no one sees it? Kant said, it must. Otherwise, morality would be meaningless. We can't prove the existence of God. We can't observe the soul. We can't confirm life after death. But to make sense of morality, Kant argued, we must believe in them. He called them the postulates of practical reason, not facts, but necessary assumptions. Because without justice, morality becomes a gamble. And faith, for Kant, isn't about proving the unseen. It's about making moral life meaningful. So what did Kant really teach us? That our minds don't just reflect the world, they shape it. That true morality comes from principle and freedom, not outcomes. And that some beliefs, like justice, dignity, and hope, are worth holding, even without proof. What we know, how we act, and what we believe, for Kant, these are all connected. In a world full of noise, he challenges us to think deeper, to understand how we know, why we choose, and what kind of person we want to be. Reason, he said, is not just about thinking. It's about living, with clarity, honesty, and freedom. If you found this meaningful and want more content like it, feel free to like, share, and subscribe for future episodes.